Some of the most remarkable people in this world don't appear on movie screens or in sports arenas. They work in offices, study in classrooms, and raise families at home. They're just ordinary people like you and I. Ordinary people who happen to have experienced something extraordinary and survived. Off the Map is a travel television series I directed and shot over a 12-year period. Unlike most explorer stories, these modern travelers are women. Ordinary women who agreed to be filmed taking journeys to extraordinary places. For the Arizona program, I was joined by my female host, Susan. Susan wanted to see the natural beauty of Arizona. As well, she wanted to meet the Navajo and experience their culture. Leon, our Navajo guide, took us to Canyon de Chelly, where he gave a brief history lesson on the Navajo people.
This land was set aside by the Creator for the indigenous people of the Northern Hemisphere. And we used everything here for medicine, all the plants, all the leaves, the barks, the roots. They're used for either a food source or for medicine. Even the Navajo women, they use it in their dyes.
Just shows how far we've moved away from using what's available to us, and you're still doing it, which is great.
Yes. These petroglyphs here were done by the Navajos. They're two horse riders chasing a deer in the canyon. There, the horses, sheep, cattle, and goats were introduced by the Spaniards.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. There's a man who came up this way back in the year 1540.
Coronado.
Yeah, Coronado.
Yeah, I read about him.
Yeah.
He was looking for gold.
Yes, that's right.
Didn't find any.
Yes.
No.
They went as far as the state of Kansas. They never found no gold.
I was very pleased that Susan took the time to do a little research prior to coming on the trip. She handled the discussion very well.
When I was climbing down that cliff into the Grand Canyon, I looked over my shoulder and I saw that mild drop behind me. And I thought I was crazy to be there. But at the same time, there was this exhilarating feeling that just kept me going. And when I finally reached the peak and stood looking out into the canyon, I felt fantastic. I felt my breath become very deep. A smile crept on my face, and I remembered that when I was a child I used to dream about flying, and I'd almost feel like I could step off the edge and soar.
During the filming of these types of programs, there's always an element of danger. And as the director, you're responsible for the safety of the talent that you're filming. As Susan agreed to try this, I walked with her every step of the way to ensure that she was okay.
The next day on my Arizona trip, I met my new guide, Charlene. I was going to spend a few days with her at her mother's ranch. As I was traveling in the Jeep with Charlene, I was very much looking forward to meeting her mom, Helen, because I heard that she ran hundreds of acres of land all by herself. I couldn't believe that a woman of 70 was able to do all the things that Charlene talked about.
Recognizing the excellent chemistry between Susan and her new guide, Charlene, as director and cameraman, all I had to do now was stop directing and keep the camera rolling. The story would unfold by itself.
Navajo mythology teaches us that we emerge from the earth, so whatever this earth has to offer us, we all use it. And so you can't say this is my land, because how can you own your own mother?
Oh, yeah. Does she drive that big truck over there?
Yeah, that's just like a car to her.
Navajo people still have their strong family bonds, and most enjoy a rich cultural, spiritual, and daily life based on small-scale farming and ranching.
Hello, Helen. Nice to meet you. Looks like you're doing a lot of hard work out here today. I'm impressed. And no gloves?
Yeah, she said just working hard. In this type of weather, pretty much, get you sweating, so it's not too cold at all, she says.
I don't think it would keep my hands warm. I have downfield mittens on.
For us, we have to wear
gloves. Look, this is all frost covered out here. I can smell the hay over there too. She must have just fed the cows.
Yeah, the cattle, she has to feed them like every day, and then they go out and graze up on the mesa again after this.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much to eat around here right now. It's pretty dried out, yeah.
So she has to go back into town again today to get some hay.
Who carries the hay?
She does most of the work.
Bales of hay?
Yeah, the bales of hay that she gets.
I've helped my sister carry bales of hay. They're very heavy.
Yeah. In the winter, she says she spends a lot of money, mainly on hay, to keep her livestock in good health.
And do they barter a lot? Like, would she barter a cow for something else?
The cattle is like having money in the bank.
Yeah.
You know, whenever she needs money, she'll sell one of the cattle. She says today she's going to go down to the well and for water, as for the cattle, and then probably for the sheep too.
Oh, maybe we can go down there with her.
Yeah. Probably beat on the ice for the cattle and the sheep, so that way they can drink the water from there.
God.
So that's all in a day's work.
Helen, you're tough. You're a tough lady, Helen. We could communicate easily, despite the fact that Helen couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak a word of Navajo. As we walked with the dogs, as they herded the sheep out towards the mesa, Helen told us that she carries a case of dog food on her shoulder 10 miles every day to take to the dogs while they're herding the sheep alone up on the mesa. I couldn't picture my mother walking 10 miles in her high heel shoes back in the city. Charlene told me we'd be seeing an old Hogan, which is a traditional Navajo home. Helen raised 5 children in this Hogan. It has a dirt floor, no running water, and no electricity.
Wow. This was built back about 40 years ago.
How many people used to live in here?
7.
7 people? My God, it's so tiny.
Yeah, to us this is pretty big.
Then?
Room. Yeah, back then.
Not
As
now.
Kids, yeah. She's moved in and out of a lot of homes, you know. Most of the time back then they used to move around with the livestock to a different area because of the vegetation.
So she wouldn't be as attached.
Yeah. So she sees them every now and then, but no feelings at all.
What's this?
She used to weave rugs back a long time ago, and this is one of her old brushes that she still has.
So that's just handmade as well.
This is the cedar wood. And cedar wood is very hard wood that is found in the area here.
Yes.
And then she makes a comb out of it, and then this is what she battens the...
I've seen pictures of them doing that, yeah. It's very interesting, though. The construction of the ceiling is sort of like a honeycomb affair.
Now, these are all layered all the way up to the top, and they use cedar logs. And then using cedar barks as the insulation to plug up most of the holes, and then wet sand is packed down from the outside of it and repacked like twice a year. That's open all year round. When it rains or snows, very little enters, but most of the time you have a stove sitting right here in the middle. Use as for cooking on, and then also to warm up the Hogan here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's well insulated that it stays very warm.
I don't believe you. Another day we returned to Helen's ranch, and I had an opportunity to meet Ernest, her son, who was visiting from Gallup, New Mexico for a few days. He was the closest I came to feeling that I met someone from the Old West with his cowboy boots and silver buckle and lasso.
My brother Ernest.
Hi, Ernest. Hi. You look like you've been working.
His wife, Rita.
Hi, Rita. Nice to meet you. And who's this little guy?
It's Matthew.
Helen asked Ernest to take the cows out to graze on the mesa, so I went along with him. Can you use this? Do you know how to do it?
Yeah, I've been kind of into rodeoing.
Really?
Back in my younger days.
So what did you do in the rodeo?
I tried roping, but I didn't get nowhere with that, so I went into bull riding.
You rode bulls?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, God.
And that was pretty exciting.
Oh, you guys were my heroes when I was a kid. So why did you give that up? Too hard on the old body?
I think.
Oh, you got smart. Yeah, too hard on the old body.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those falls are
every
deadly.
time you hit the ground, it started to hurt, and then I said, I don't think I need to do this anymore.
Helen made a wonderful meal of Navajo tea, fry bread, and piñons. Piñons are roasted pine nuts, and she picked them herself.
made it to.
And what's in the jar?
That's a Navajo wild herb tea that is found in the up on the mesa here.
I keep being struck by the mix of the tradition and the new. She's got packaged golden cornbread mix over here. But she goes out and picks her own tea from the bushes. I mean, there's a little bit of both worlds going on, yeah.
Yeah, she pretty much will use what is in the area here. She said the grocery stores are pretty much way out further out there, so she's out of flour right now, so she's going to sell a cow and get some more groceries. And then this is all like dry canned goods that she brings home. And then the rest is all what is grown in the area, like the corn, squash. And then she does have a couple of fruit trees out in the back. This little stove here can give off a lot of heat.
A lot of heat. Yeah. I could tell when I came in the door that it was lit. It's warm.
And now the wood that she burns is all juniper and cedar that is found in the area here.
I noticed there was a smell around the house outside. I could tell that it was a wood burning smell. Yeah, from a fire, yeah. Smells nice. And who cuts all the wood?
Usually one of the boys will come home on the weekends or so, chop all the woods for her.
Oh, the one thing that she doesn't have to do by herself.
Yeah.
I can't believe she can actually do a dinner for a whole family in this little tiny grill. I have a hard time doing it on my 4-burner stove.
Here's a piece of the bread.
Ooh.
Like to try a piece?
Ooh, yeah, candy. Thank you. Always cornmeal? Now, so when does she use the stove? Because I notice there is a regular stove too.
That's pretty much when we all come down and visit, and we use the stove.
You use the stove.
We use the stove, and we don't use that one here. God. Now, in a few days here, the kids will be going back to school, and she'll be, by herself again after the vacation or the weekend's over.
So she spends a lot of her time up here all by herself then? Does she have a telephone?
She don't have a telephone. For if when she needs anything, she just drives into town.
You don't worry about her being all by herself up here?
Not really, no.
No?
But I think she pretty much worries about us than her worries about him.
Typical there. Sounds like popcorn.
See, that was the pinion that is found in the area here.
Oh, pine nuts.
It comes out like every 4 or 5 years or so.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah.
No wonder it's so
expensive. It comes out every 4 to 5 years, and it depends on how much rain we get out here.
You're going to roast them and then?
She's going to roast them, yeah. And then some people will put salt in it, salted pinion.
And just eat them like a nut?
And then just eat it like it's sunflower seeds that we have. Yeah.
Oh, so you take the shell off?
Yeah, you take the shell off, break it open, and then the nuts are cooked. Most of the time she'll pick pinions to snack on when she's out there herding sheep.
Oh, it's hot. I think after you walk 5 miles to find your sheep, you should get to have a treat.
On the last day of my trip to Arizona, Charlene took me to Monument Valley, an area of beautiful stone structures. There was a very low mist that was rising up from the monuments, and as it moved away and the sun hit them, they were so huge and permanent and overwhelming.
Oh God, Charlene. Oh God, this is fantastic. Thank you for bringing me here.
I love nature and I've always been moved by it, but I never realized how profoundly I could be affected by things like Monument Valley, Canyon de Chelly. And I was still amazed at the profound effect that seeing these huge monuments had on me.